In 3, 2, 1, begin!
He's just running for re-election, you know. I thought it would be obvious to everyone. He's not going to deliver on any of that shit. Oh, I've got time. 7 minutes. Want to know how most people die at sea? Asked John. They fall overboard when no one's looking and turn up dead weeks later, floating along in the ocean with their penises hanging out of their pants. John grabbed a plastic McDonald's cup from a beverage holder next to our boat's steering wheel. Always pee into this. Then dump it over the side. If you try pissing from the railing, a wave could knock you overboard while I'm not looking. He put the cup back. This is your cup. That one's mine. In November 2011, John Barker picked me up at the Manchester, New Hampshire airport. As we drove to his house, he blew through a red light, explaining he always ran that particular red light, and any others that offended his well-honed logistical sensibilities as a 69-year-old retired engineer. 2 days later, we'd be at sea. I had never sailed before, had never met John, and it would be just the two of us sailing his 29-year-old 42-foot sloop, Dog Heaven. The journey would take 1 month, starting from Groton, Connecticut to Bermuda, then down through the Bermuda Triangle to Grand Turk Island, and then the Bahamas. It turned out that John Barker was an asshole. An impatient, whining, spiteful old man who sailed to escape his family and prove to himself he was still capable of making reckless, near-catastrophic mistakes without quite dying. His reaction to every problem was, "Shit! God damn it! Well, we're fucked." Always leaving me to wonder if he really meant it this time. He tossed a tin can off the back of the boat. See how long you can keep your eye on it. It disappeared in the space of only a few waves. I asked John what I should do if he fell overboard. Well, don't do me any favors. I never fell overboard, but I was tempted. Everything I ate or drank came spilling back out of me and over the side of the boat, which rocked so much I had to brace myself against something after every step I took. Just fetching a toothbrush was an epic struggle against physics and required an hour of lying down beforehand in preparation, or nausea would bring me to my knees. 3 days of vomiting, dehydration, sleeplessness, and disorientation were eating away at my psyche. The boat became this hostile thing, a twisting, slippery dungeon of wood, metal, and salt water. If I ate something, the boat demanded it back. If I liked something, seawater would destroy it. The ocean was like a schoolyard bully who turns you upside down to shake out all your lunch money, then beats the shit out of you just for fun. The whole mechanism of life at sea seemed broken. What was the point of all this lurching? Everything was moving, but nothing was changing. Occasionally the sun would set, but then just come right back up again later. It was frustratingly easy to lose track of the days, and I refused to ask John for updates. I looked up from my cushioned sleeping bench to see John's silhouette projectile vomiting all the way from the navigation table to the kitchen, and I felt a little better. It took 5 days to reach Bermuda, where I immediately escaped John by begging my way onto a passing dinghy. I took all my gear with me, planning to bail. Fresh off the boat, I was accosted by an all-girl rugby team. "Can we give you a mullet?" the all-girl rugby team demanded. The photograph of me with my unwashed mass of sailor's hair, bobby pinned into a mullet, was just what the all-girl rugby team needed to win their scavenger hunt. The all-girl rugby team directed me to the Mariners Club, where I had never been so happy to spend $120 on a shitty hotel room. Right? But I was strapped for cash and was supposed to be sleeping on the boat with John to save money. Luckily, I met Stan, the groundskeeper. Stan, the groundskeeper, invited me to stay with him for free. But I hesitated when he got to his place, and I noticed he had no couch or guest room. But I decided not to care. I woke up the next morning to Stan groping my morning wood through the covers. Briefly, I considered freaking out, then realized I still needed a place to stay for one more night and pretended to roll over in my sleep. Bermuda has a perfectly good airport. But when John called to say the weather was right for sailing, I embraced stupidity and helped raise the sails for our cruise through the Bermuda Triangle. A sailboat is doomed the moment it's built. The second you unfurl your sails, UV rays begin breaking down the fabric, eventually rendering them limp and useless. The ocean attacks from below, corroding the hull, while scheming barnacles move in for the kill. The construction of a sailboat is an act of defiance against nature. Normally, sailboats are propelled by witchcraft and telekinesis, and can sail almost directly into the wind without engines. But on our way south, John's need for speed led him to arrange the sails in a wing and wing formation, which works closer to the way you would expect sails to work. You put the wind behind you and expose as much surface area as possible. After a few miles and a lot of cursing, John's face was covered in blood from getting hit with the broken spinnaker pole that had snapped when the wind proved too strong. Fuck! Motherfucking god damn it! Well, we're fucked. It's over. Between Bermuda and Grand Turk, I discovered oranges, and my life changed. Oranges at sea are like unicorns, rare, precious, mysterious, and delicious. My daily orange became my best friend. I'd wake up with a mouthful of dry, salty air and immediately think of eating an orange. I resisted for hours before putting one into the cargo pocket of my pants, where it pressed comfortingly against my leg, reminding me whatever happened, I had an orange in my future. I knew above deck the sun would be relentless. Reflected off the waves, it was a surefire recipe for burns exacerbated by salty air, but the whole point of my orange was that it was my own tiny sun, a light I could control.